Please don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to our channel so that we can bring you like-minded individuals more content. Remember to click on the bell to be notified when we post next. Hello sailors, and welcome to another edition of As We See It, and our final day on board P&O Cruises IONA. Last days are always the hardest. During the night the ship had made some great ground and we were stationed just inside the channel and off the French coast. This morning we headed up one deck to the Horizon buffet for breakfast. We both had some cereal and then Paul had some toast. After this it was time to head down and sit in the library area to relax and read. The Anderson Library bar was closed as it was being used for antigen testing, possibly for crew or for those travelling onwards after the cruise. So we sat in the area by Sindhu instead and enjoyed the peace and quiet and had a nice read. We had our time in the Hydra Suite booked for 1 to 3 PM, so we needed to make sure that we ate around 12 noon. As we were sat next to the quays, this became our lunchtime venue. Paul had the fish and chips, whilst I had burger and fries, and we switched to chips. The fish comes with oven-style chips, while the burger comes with French fries. Oh, and a tip for you, if you like tartar sauce with your fish, it isn't by the sauce station, you need to ask for it from the counter. After lunch we went to the room to drop off our stuff and get ready for the spa. There were 8 people in the spa today, but most don't stay for the full time, so that was really nice. I've enjoyed my time using the spa on this trip, although it would have been nice to have been able to split the time in it throughout the day. For instance, do it in the morning and then again late afternoon. So after the spa we went to the shops to pick up our alcohol purchases. We bought some spirits on board as presents and they do need packing. We dropped our stuff off at the room, went up to the buffet first, not for food but just to grab a cup of tea and just sit there looking at the swells. I played the mini motorways game on the iPad for a bit. After our stint upstairs drinking tea, it was time to go down to the room and start to pack our suitcases. Now packing always makes it feel final. We got our stuff together whilst the film Wedding Wars played in the background on the stateroom TV. The sun was setting, so we nipped out to get some pictures from the balcony. So with our cases finally packed, with a little squashed assistance and repositioning of a few items between the suit bag, backpack and the case, it was at one point looking like the stowaways were going to have to be left behind. Don't worry, you know that I would never leave the stowaways behind. We would always find a way to make sure they got home. I also have a large Lego bag to carry home with a City 60271 set in it, which I purchased before we boarded as it had been discontinued and it was also discounted and less than half price. I really wanted the yellow tram that came in the set. After packing, we headed down to Deck 8 in the Keel & Cow restaurant to see if we could get something to eat. We had to wait in a virtual queue for a table and the maitre d' said it would be around about 30 minutes wait. We walked down a level to Deck 7 to get a seat and a drink. I took a copy of the menu with me so that we could have a look and decide what we wanted to eat whilst we waited. 35 minutes we headed back up to see if our table was ready. We were now number 2 in the queue. We waited another 5 minutes and then we were shown to our table. Now we had already decided that we would have the Prime Minister burger. So according to advertising around the ship, this is the signature burger and arguably the best at sea. It is marketed as prime British beef, prime flavour, and elected the boss of all burgers. We believe this is the best burger at sea. All you have to do is order. This 8-ounce dry-aged prime beef patty with Isle of Wight blue cheese, dry cured bacon, beefsteak tomatoes, pancetta jam, onion marmalade, roasted garlic mayonnaise, pickled gherkins and a salted bun, served with skin-on fries and Stokes Bloody Mary ketchup. So the steaks came with a side of onion rings, so we asked if we could have some. We got an attitudinal answer of, I will add them on. We would have been willing to pay for them, and they really should have them as a side upcharge along with the burgers. I'm glad that we were able to get into the restaurant, as for some reason all the food venues in the ship closed at 9:30, including the buffet, and then they don't open again until 11 PM. So there's this weird 1 hour 30 minutes where the only food you can have is room service, which is now charged. After dinner we popped into the promenade shop as we walked past. I bought a little gift for my favourite 4-year-old buddy Richard. We went up to Horizon Buffet to grab a cup of tea and then went back to the room to finish the rest of the packing and make sure that our devices were all charged and ready for the train ride home in the morning. We watched the film Faster with the very slim Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It was time for one last hot chocolate before deciding that we would retire for the evening. It was also a little bumpy due to the 3 to 4 metre swirls and it was still quite windy. We did have 10 to 12 metre swirls earlier. As the day went on, they reduced right down. So good night one and all, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow. It is now the morning, and we're packed and ready to make our way off the ship and head to the train station. We arrived in the dock 30 minutes later than scheduled. We are hoping that with the train disruption caused by the high stormy winds, that may let us get on an earlier train back to London. I've been checking the train app since I got up, and it looks like the first trains leaving Southampton for London will be leaving around 9 AM. Well, that didn't go to plan. When we got to the train station, we found out that most of the trains were cancelled and not running on their scheduled time. So we went to the Starbucks across from the station and weighed up the options. We looked at the cost of hotel rooms. We also looked at the cost of how much an Uber or taxi back to London would be. An Uber or taxi would cost close to £200, so that option was out of the window. We were waiting to see if the next train got cancelled. I then told Paul to book the room that he had found, as the hotel rooms were starting to get full. We booked a hotel and decided to stay in Southampton overnight and travel back tomorrow. Our train tickets would be valid for travel until Monday morning as per the announcements in the station. We walked to the hotel hoping that we could leave the luggage as we had paid to check in at 12 noon rather than 3 PM. We got to the hotel. We were given this blanket no to leaving our luggage and a very rude person on reception with no customer service skills. Maybe he could join the IONA crew. We decided that our only option was to sit in reception for 3 hours with our bags until we could get into the room, so that is what we did. We grabbed a cuppa and sat and played games and caught up with socials on our iPad. We watched the train notice boards on the app and all the trains up to 1300 hours were cancelled. It was an overnight stay for us and we had provisionally booked a room for the next night just in case. We didn't need it as we were on one of the first trains to leave the following morning. It took longer to get home due to speed restrictions, but it was so nice to walk through the front door, be greeted by Luke and Leia, who didn't leave our side most of that day. Well, shipmates, that brings our 7-day adventure on board P&O Cruises IONA to an end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the videos so that we can be connected to more like-minded people who enjoy cruising. We hope that you've enjoyed this journey with us and that we will see you again real soon on another adventure. Thanks for watching.